Hello and welcome to our West Coast Today podcast with me, Sandy Neal.
Me, Owen Wild.
And me, Fiona Scott.
Here is a wee taster of some of the stories from Scotland's West Coast this week, appearing in this Thursday's Lochaber Times and Oban Times, and on our one-stop shop website, www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. We love hearing your stories, so why not drop us an email at editor@obantimes.co.uk or editor@lochabertimes.co.uk or through our socials. Or you can give us a call on 01631 568 000. We'll start today in the south in the Oban Times patch and then move up the west coast. Owen, what's news?
Thank you, Sandy. Well, Craignure is about to lose its passenger access system as CMUL has decided to scrap it following a breakdown in April. The Mull and Iona Ferry Committee has criticised CMUL's decision-making process, saying its reasoning is flawed and that forcing passengers to use the car deck poses an unnecessary risk. Argyll and Bute Council currently has no plans to build the replacement, having abandoned a tender for one last year. Following the shutdown of yet another Oban-based care company this week, the nurse behind an exciting new initiative in town is urging carers and families to get in touch. The Oban Private Care Support Group was established a few months ago and helps carers go into the private market by supporting them while they establish themselves and providing cover. And finally from me, this week's front page of the Oban Times follows the efforts of Oban teenager Cameron James Harris, who is trying to fulfil his dream before time runs out. Cameron wants to sail around the world with the Clipper race, but he has two problems. He can't afford it on his own, and he's losing his vision due to a degenerative condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Follow Cameron's story and find out how to support him towards his dream in this week's paper.
Thank you very much, Owen. While we're on the Oban Times, I'm just going to nip in here to tell you that police are appealing for information following a theft of cash from the post office on the Isle of Tiree. And islanders on Jura say Argyll and Bute Council is making it almost impossible to live there, after the council cut the late evening ferry with no notice, stranding people on Isla with huge overnight bills. Now over to Fee. What's happening up north in the land of the Lochaber Times?
Thank you, Sandy. There were celebrations on the Ardnamurchan Peninsula last week as vital post office services returned to Kilcohan. A large crowd gathered at the reopening ceremony when two well-known community figures cut the ribbon at the new location, while retired postmaster David Doherty played the bagpipes. New postmaster Richard Johnson, who played a role in coordinating the establishment of the new branch, acknowledged the difficulties the residents have faced recently. Over in Fort William, there was hardly a dry eye in the room when 20-year-old Millie Henderson from Cool shared her deeply personal journey as a young carer at a recent Lochaber Rotary business lunch. An extraordinary young woman whose determination, resilience and passion for helping others has already taken her from Lochaber to the Scottish Parliament, Millie spoke passionately about the importance of recognising and supporting the hundreds of young people across the region who have quietly dedicated their lives to caring for loved ones. And finally, more than 100 members, former staff and trustees of a conservation charity have signed an open letter to the Office of the Scottish Charity Regulator calling for immediate action. The letter asks the regulator to intervene in the leadership practices of the John Muir Trust, which manages 25,400 hectares in Scotland, including parts of Ben Nevis, Knoydart and Skye. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you very much, Fee. And while we're still up north, Skye Mountain Rescue Team is asking how the challenging Skye Trail is named, described, promoted and sold after rescuing 20 people on it in a single day. And what did a public vote name the two snow leopards in the Highland Wildlife Park? Snowy McSpotface, Percy, Claudia? Find out these and a lot more in this week's Lochaber Times and Oban Times, and on our website www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. And this podcast is now available on Apple, Spotify or anywhere else you usually get your podcasts. Just search the West Coast Today podcast in the service of your choice. And we have a special bonus. Here to tell us more is Nikki with a new podcast, Blether in the Heather.
Episode 2 is out this Thursday and available to listen to on any podcast platform, including Spotify, iTunes, Google Play and Amazon Music. Over to you, Nikki.
Hi, Owen. Yeah, delighted to tell you that our podcast this week was a wonderful chat with Iona Buick, who is the Operations and Events Manager at Bute Yard. This is a really inspiring business. They produce Bute Gin, Bute Brew. I even tried their amazing banana lager. That was part of a wonderful experience. Getting to know Iona and getting to know the team and all the fantastic things that they do on the Isle of Bute. This podcast is sponsored by Wild About Argyll, so it's brilliant just getting out and about, meeting so many inspiring people across our region, and we cannot wait for you to listen to it.
And what did a banana lager taste like?
Bananas, funnily enough. The spongy, chewy ones, delicious.
Sounds great. Well, I'm sure people will love to hear all about that.
Great stuff. Thanks, Owen.
Well, I think that's about it from us this week. Many thanks for listening, and it's bye from me, Sandy Neal.
Bye from me, Owen Wild.
And bye from me, Fiona Scott.
Bye.